Hey Scorpio, this is your general tarot reading for Scorpio, Sun, Moon and Ascendant or Rising sign for the month of April. Scorpio, let's do it. Let's do what we always do. We're going to shuffle the cards and wait on all the right ones to come out for you, my love. And in the meantime, let's talk about the energies that you may feel throughout the month. And your first card hops out there. I'm going to lay it down there, Scorpio, and wait for the rest of them to come out. So here's what we know. We're leaving March behind, feeling the effects still of the full moon that happened in Libra in your 12th house. So there may have been things that were simmering beneath that came to the surface in order for you to judge them, decide what to do with them, and to kind of lay something to rest once and for all. So say if it's in your work, it's that feeling that something turned up, something showed up, unexpectedly perhaps, and it kind of really unsettled you, and you had a job or a task to try to make sense of it, to try to figure it out and to try to come to some sort of balance with it, you know. When it comes to money, it's the same thing. You know, maybe there were some issues that had come up out of the blue that surprised you about your financial situation. And again, with the moon in Libra, you had an opportunity to balance some money issues, maybe debt issues or something like that. And also, 12th house has a lot to do with deep feelings and finally letting go of something that's way overdue to be, you know, severed out of your life, way overdue. Maybe a job, maybe a relationship, or maybe somebody that you've just seen right through and you're saying, I get it now, I see all of you, I see your motivations, I see you. So there's no hiding anymore. So because I see you, I've decided that I need to handle this a bit differently. In some cases, I need to judge that you no longer belong in my life. And in some cases, it's a question of just sitting down and say, well, now that the truth is out about this situation, what do we do? You know? So it's a lot like that, but you'll get over it. But it seems that this is coming in two parts. And I tell you why, because last month and again this month, there's a full moon in Libra, which isn't very, very common to have the same full moons in consecutive months. Now, it's not a blue moon. That's when there are two full moons in 1 month, but it's 2 consecutive moons. Anyway, so it's almost like at the end of March, truth came or something was shown to you, something that was a bit of chaos, a bit of a mess, a bit of maybe even some fears about something came up, and you've had to make a decision on it. And now this month, by the end of the month, with the full moon again in Libra on April 19th, I beg your pardon, you'll get to make the last decision. It seems that it's so big, whatever this thing is, that you have to do it kind of in 2 months, because to do it all at once would probably be a bit too much of a jolt to the system. So maybe you know what that is, something that you just can't hide anymore, something that now that you've seen it, you just can't unsee it. Now that you feel it, you just can't unfeel it. Now that you've psychically tuned into something, you just can't ignore it anymore. Yeah. And what it seems here that the remedy to this is what the sun wants you to do, and what the new moon on April 5th wants you to do particularly, and then Mercury on April 17th wants you to do, is focus on 6th house things. And that is getting a sense of order in your life, in all parts of your life. And with your money, very much so. You've Mars in the 8th house about money, but we'll talk about that in a moment. And there's a big drive and a push to get it organized. To kind of say, well, last year I was so all over the place with my money. I didn't know what I was doing. I had no great control of it. This year, I'm going to do something about it. I'm going to get myself organized and motivated to handle particularly some issue around money and shared money, money that you might be handling for somebody else too, you know. And it's organization time, as 2 cards came out, yeah. Moon in Libra card hopping out there, followed by this. So that's the big theme. Now the other big theme is your health and also your spiritual health and your psychological health here, Scorpio. There's a real moment where you say, I want to organize my mind, body, soul, life experience, that I'm feeling that I'm getting the most out of it, that I feel now with Mars in my 8th house that I should put more value on my long-term health. So it could be a month where you decide to make a few appointments with doctors, osteopaths, dentists, whatever. Maybe just to get your blood pressure checked, or just to get some, did we say this last month? I'm not too sure, but just to get something that's been bothering you, just checked so you don't have to deal with it again. Particularly if the issues are to do with two things, with your digestion, with stomach issues, with your nervous tension, and also maybe for some of you with your reproductive health. But again, it's like your mind is on it this month and all your energy is on getting this organized, fixed and under control. And you'll do it, Scorpio, you really will. But there are energies that kind of come in through the month and kind of get stronger at the second half of the month. At the start of the month, you're still feeling very nice energies where it's all about focusing on doing these hobbies that we spoke about last month, doing things where you're able to get lost in something, get lost in dance, get lost in your art, your, whatever it is you do, motorbikes, anything, get lost in it and really get back into that vibe of not thinking too much, but rather just playing. And it's a great time for those of you who are out there looking for new love. Again, the first 2 weeks of this month, the energy is so strong with you, so strong. You've got Venus as we enter the month in Pisces, also about creating beautiful illusions about romance and love. Some of you could find that everything's a little bit dreamy and sweet and just going along with the beautiful boat ride of love, a little bit like that. But there is something I'll say, it's a very romantic time. Venus is loving the illusion, loving the romance, loving playing right now for you, for the first 2 weeks particularly. But at some point, halfway through the month, there might be a real wake-up call. So don't get a surprise and you wake up one day and say, maybe that person wasn't all I'd hoped they'd be, or the honeymoon phase is now over, or it's back to work time, or it's back to getting to the real world, to the routine, to getting things organized, back to that again. But it was lovely while it lasted, and it was. And especially, there's a real, I feel it, Scorpio, like a honeymoon phase for things you're creating too. Maybe if some of you are launching something or, trying to promote something that's specifically you, your name, your work, everything about you is on this one thing, then the first 2 weeks are all about enjoying that and maybe even making some money from that. Making money from your hobbies is still big this month. But again, towards the second half of the month, it's all about, okay, to keep this feeling going, I'm going to have to get more organized, clear out some things. You see, with the 12th house, 6th house dynamic going on here, you may also get a real moment of saying, there are too many things in my life in a state of disorganization, in a state of chaos. I've piled up too many clothes in my wardrobe. I've been spending money on things that kind of are fun or nice clothes, but do I really need to be spending my money on all of this? What do I need to be doing? So there's a real kind of hand on hips time where you look around at everything in your life and say, this just has to be brought back into some level of sense in everything. So you'll be kept busy, particularly around the second half of the month, cleaning, spring cleaning, throwing things out, giving things to charity. Yeah, because it's time to get, like I said, that sense and that structure and that clear space, because that's what your soul wants. You know, that's what you need. You need clear space, like to breathe. And of course, the more organized you are, the more you can breathe, and the more time you can spend meditating, relaxing, focusing on your health, focusing on calming your nerves and bringing all of that back into some sense, you know. So that's a real strong vibe for you this month. Now, there are a few things happening too this month. I'll just say that with the new moon in April 5th, some of you really, apart from really wanting to take absolute control of your health, new moon in Aries, and this is an Aries card, you want to take control of your health, but you also want to take control of your work life. Some of you might say, it's time I found a new way of working, a new office space, new instruments or tools that I need for my work. It's time for me to open that up and maybe even to find a new job. And what I want you to be careful of here too, Scorpio, is do try not to open up any resentment with co-workers. Don't try to open up any bad feelings by getting involved in any office gossip or any kind of group gossip. This is an energy I think you'll regret if you get into it. It's almost like we're at a point here this month for you, Scorpio, that open up your workspace to a kind of cleaner environment and a better environment, safer environment, whatever it is, and get to work. But don't fall into the trap of trying to get ahead by falling in with some office gossips. You know, just show caution, because this is not something you want to begin now, because little acorns grow into mighty oaks, and you don't want that to bite you later down in the year, you know. So keep your focus clean, keep it organized, and keep your head down and keep working. That's really the answer to all of this. Jupiter on April 10th is retrograding in Sagittarius. Now this is good for those of you who want to get involved in a new health regime, a new fitness regime, a new way to approach your whole diet, eating healthier and so on like that. Because with Jupiter retrograding, Jupiter is the expander, and he's in the second house, which is the physical body. And if he's not expanding your physical body, I mean, that might kind of suck if you're trying to build muscle. You might find it's harder to build muscle. But it's kind of good if you don't want any more weight to go on. It gives you a kind of break. Jupiter's saying, oh, okay, I won't expand your waistline. Just get focused on your health and get that improved. And I'll cut you some slack here a little bit, okay? And that's, you know, that's, some of you might welcome that, really. Now, the other thing Jupiter retrograding could do is also slow down a little bit when it comes to money. You might see that it gets a little bit harder to make money, to make coin. Now, it's not impossible. It's not that it's going to be a disaster or anything like that, Scorpio. It's just that you will notice a momentum changing where it's a little bit trickier to see money come in. It's a little bit trickier to kind of keep an eye on your spending. But that is the trick. The trick is to keep an eye on your spending, because Venus had been wanting you to spend on fun things, going out, doing things, buying luxury things even. And now it's just, you know, it's time to keep your eye on the coin. With Mars in the 8th house, he's saying, look, all your energy has to go into now focusing on getting your books together, your bookkeeping, your household utility bills, getting organized, everything we've just said, investing a little bit of money here, opening a little bit of side business, getting coin from other sources of income, maybe sharing a new project with somebody so that you can work together and bring in some money. That's also something that's very positive for you. Because the idea is that you have to slow down, manage your money. Don't spend so much on really gimmicky things. That's the word that's coming to mind. Things that are really just gimmicks. that you really didn't need, and bring some of that wonderful Scorpio control into your spending. So that's the real big theme. Now, other things that are happening, the Sun moves into Taurus in your 7th house on April 20th. And again, that brings a better vibe back between you maybe and your partner. Better energy. You're kind of more motivated to do things with your partner. You're more motivated to go out there and get into a relationship if you're single. You're more motivated to talk to maybe some people about coming together to do something, business, or coming together to organize something, coming together to kind of organize a vacation. I don't know, there's something that you're pulling a few people together or another person together and working with them. Maybe to make money. Yeah, money seems to be involved here. And if you had any difficulties between, say, the end of March with one person, you might find that there's more energy in around April 20th for you to make peace and resolve some of the problems. Yeah, some of you are really keen around April 20th to have a look at your contract and to maybe see if that's still working out for you. Maybe leave one contract, start another contract. But it's interesting that this card came out. This is a Taurus card. This is also a marriage card. And you have the Sun in Taurus in the 7th house of partnerships, cooperation, making unions with somebody. And he pops up in Aries season. So could some of you be really thinking about making a very strong, solid commitment with somebody, whatever that might be, but a commitment doing something that you love and that you're passionate about. So it could be a wedding, it could be about starting a family or starting a business. So it's all very good energy, good flow. Now, April 20th, Venus moves into Aries, into your 6th house, where things are moving a little bit better in work. Maybe money is starting to feel a little bit easier. You know, with the Jupiter retrograde in your 2nd house, you need some of that help that Venus might bring in the workspace to kind of get things organized. But it's just organize your health, because you need this energy. Jupiter retrograding in the 2nd house might be saying, look, I'm slowing down because I want to show you where you're losing energy. You could be maybe eating better, exercising better, in a fun way where it's not so intense and serious, that you can actually enjoy it. Because what Jupiter wants is for you to put your energy into the right places and not to feel that you're losing all your energy on other people, on their problems, on their dramas, on trying to keep it all together. You know, Jupiter is saying slow down and recognize, spot, because you're very good, Scorpio, at being able to see right through something. So why don't you see right through this and see where you are giving your energy to all the wrong people, places and things, where you could streamline it a whole lot better and not get maybe so involved with other people's kind of dramatic things where they're baiting you to get involved. You don't have to get involved. You know, leave them to it. As I often say to you, leave them to it and let them fix their own mess. There's a few cards come out here. Yeah. Now, other things, your ruler Pluto on April 24th is retrograding until October, and he's retrograding in Capricorn in your 3rd house, Scorpio. April 30th, Saturn is retrograding until September in your 3rd house also. It's a real thing that might come up for you here this month, where you have to ask, where are you losing power in the areas we spoke about? And could you maybe understand a lot of this better? Could you put some more energy into understanding how you can get more control over your life? Could you put a little bit more energy also into networking with people and getting out there and not making real serious friends necessarily, but getting into having chit-chat conversations with people, meeting people for coffee, kind of getting out there and not maybe hiding away so much. You know, go out there and meet people and release some of the fear that you have around spending time with people who you don't know. It's almost the energy of, I don't know, is it shyness, Scorpio? Shyness about just striking up random conversations with people? Or is it a reluctance? There's a fear about just getting out there. I mean, if you've got wonderful ideas to make money, and if you want to promote yourself for work, and you want to get out there and do lots of interviews or whatever you want to do, meet new people, you're going to be asking yourself this month, why do I find that so difficult? Why do I find it so difficult just to hang loose, just to kind of be there in the moment, laughing, playing, kind of just not taking anything so seriously? Have I a fear that if I do that, I will lose some sort of control over the situation? That I always have to be watching what's coming next. I always have to be kind of careful about what I say, what I communicate. Why can't I just relax and just say the first thing that comes to my mind without fearing that I'll regret that later, without giving yourself a hard time, basically, Scorpio? I think you give yourself a hard time, that you're very much somebody at times who self-censors. So when you meet somebody, a neighbour or an acquaintance or work colleague, that it's almost like, you know, don't say something stupid, don't say something stupid, don't ruin this, kind of give off a vibe that you've got your shit together. Don't let them see that maybe there's a bit of chaos going on in the background. Don't let them see. It's just a time this month, it seems, Scorpio, where you're going to be asking yourself the big questions of, what do I fear about just letting my hair down and being natural with my communication and speaking my mind just as I see it? Has somebody censored you from speaking your mind? A friend, a lover, a family member? Have you always felt that you have to be somehow on guard? It's time to ask why. I mean, there are very real reasons. I know, I get it. There are reasons why you have to blah, blah, blah. But it's almost the case of, has it gone so far now that you can't relax in conversations without feeling that you're going to do something wrong or say the wrong thing or put your foot in it or something? It's just how you communicate. Just see what you fear around that and how you can relax more into it. Now, the other thing that might come up is there may be a real thing about meeting people again from the past who crop up. Old acquaintances, people who you haven't heard from in years. Maybe from work, maybe not real friends or this or that, just kind of finding that you go to places, events, and there are faces that you haven't seen in so long. And there'll be lots of synchronicities with this, and lots of weird kind of connections happening, and conversations will come up maybe where things might be revealed through kind of friend, stranger kind of people. So that's probably why it's worth talking, worth getting out there and being open with your conversation, because things might be shown to you this month through random conversations. And I mean random, standing at a bus stop kind of conversations, that you could learn something very, very important. Now, you could also find, where was I going with that? That somebody tries to contact you, maybe through social media, through your cell phone, whatever, like a blast from the past tries to contact you. And you've a moment here to ask yourself, do I want to get back involved in talking with them again? Only you can answer that, Scorpio. Only you can kind of pose that question to yourself. Is this a friendship that I want to pick up on again? Is this an acquaintance, a work network person that I actually want to get involved with again? So there are all big things. Now we're waiting on 2 cards, Scorpio. There were big energies to talk about, so we had to take a little bit of time talking about them. So I'm going to choose 2 last cards for you, my love. Okay, let's do this thing. Oh, one came out, the moon. Yeah, I did say there are hidden things coming out. Things that somebody tried to keep under wraps. But it's these random conversations, things that you overhear, things that maybe weren't directed at you, but you just happen to be in the right place at the right time to learn something very, very, very important. Learning, studying something maybe towards the end of the month, but learning something very important. So I'll find one last card for you, Scorpio. I strongly feel that. I strongly feel a chance encounter reveals a missing piece of some puzzle that you didn't even know you were looking for. Yeah. Oh, and one card came zipping out there. The Page of Cups. Yeah. So Scorpio, let's do this. Let's go over to the, ta-da, the grand overview. Now, I did say that there might be a situation that you really should avoid, if you can, around the new moon on April 5th, which is opening up to new things in work. And don't allow one of those things be office gossip. Because I get the feeling here, Scorpio, you're doing your very, very, very best to keep level-headed, to keep some sort of control, to keep pleasant to maybe somebody in the workspace. And it's hard work. Maybe somebody that you work with, you find that if you weren't there, they would do nothing. Are they lazy? I don't know, but it's almost like the case of all the work is always left on your shoulders. And you're trying to be polite. You're trying to kind of push them back a little bit to stop their influence on you. And I think you're doing a very good job. You're not getting into fights or arguments, but there's almost like a thin line here, Scorpio, where I think you've got to change tack a little bit. You've got to be more insistent, but in a calm way, that you're not the one that's going to be holding all of the work, that you're not going to be the one doing it all. Maybe at home, if you have a family, if you have children, it's like, I am not going to be the only one doing all the cleaning or the cooking or the, household tasks or the repair work. I'm not going to be the only one doing this. People need to help me. So that's your new change of tack, it seems, this month. You need better structure where you're not the only one doing everything, Scorpio, because that's not fair. I mean, now I can understand why some of your energy might be going down a bit, because there's too much work on your shoulders. Now, what you need to be focused on, it seems here, Scorpio, is pushing back all the people who want to dump their things on you and have you organize their life, and say, no, you organize your life. I'm going to put all the hard work and effort and energy into getting on with my own work, my own duties, my own responsibilities. I have a responsibility to myself. I have a responsibility to my health. I have a responsibility to be able to rest and sleep well at night, not because I'm worried about my own problems, but I'm worried about everyone else's problems too. No, it's my duty, it's my responsibility to push everybody away a little bit this month and organize my time so that I can get on with my business of being fabulously me. You do. You need to push people away a little bit. Now, before I leave on that, I'll just say that I did mention contracts to you before, April 20th, there's an energy where you could really be realizing that one of the new tactics that you need to bring victory is to change your contract, examine your contract closely to see if it's something that still makes you happy, and maybe change that up or get a new work contract. Yeah. And it's certainly within relationships, friendships, anything like that, people have got to back off a little bit. I get the energy you're pushing somebody away because it all feels like a bit too much hard work, Scorpio. Now, Moon in Libra. We had a Moon in Libra last month. We have a Moon in Libra this month. I definitely think it's in your 12th house. I really think you're taking the time using 12th house energy, which is all about spending time on your own, not going out, but rather, making as much free, clean, clear space for yourself as possible, so that you can finally get out of this being pulled and dragged in so many different directions. Not being able to judge people. This is another thing that you've probably found. You were probably trying to be very fair when it comes to certain people who were acting like assholes. And you didn't know how to say it. You're saying, my gut is telling me that you're behaving badly. My gut is telling me that you're not pulling your weight. My gut is telling me that you're not doing something right, you're saying to somebody. But at the same time, you're also seeing the good side of them, and you're saying, well, you know, maybe they just don't know. Maybe they need help. Maybe they need me as a friend or as a partner to kind of go in and help them. So there's a kind of balance. But this month you're sitting down, taking that free space and saying, to hell with that. I've got to make a really clear judgment on this. I've got to really decide what I feel about this situation. I've got to really trust my instincts. I've got to really examine, explore and expand my water, my feelings, my psychic kind of vibe that I'm feeling out in this situation, and make a decision once and for all. That's the real strong energy here, Scorpio. Whatever's been going on with a relationship, with a friend, with a situation, with work, it's the energy of don't be distracted by so many other things. Take time to have that quiet space and finally, once and for all, make a clean decision. Because what I'm feeling, Scorpio, is that to avoid making a decision about someone or something, you've filled up your mind with distractions and filled up, like going shopping and doing things, you filled up your mind. But it's time now to really sit down and be honest and say, what's going on here? Now, for some of you, not all of you, when it comes to your health, it is time to have a real sit down with yourself and be real super honest and say, you know, things like, do I really need to address the fact that I'm drinking too much, or address the fact that I'm an emotional eater, or that I'm, you know, smoking or doing something just to kind of distract myself from making a decision about something, you know, or making clarity in my emotions also with the energy of the 12th house. It's like it's truth time, Scorpio. It's truth time. And you really have to be honest with yourself and say, could I really be doing better? And the answer, of course, is that you can, and you will. You will. And don't let negative talk stop you. Don't let the fear of maybe what's something that you're trying to suppress, a strong emotion, stop you from getting this clarity. As I'm sitting here feeling your energy, Scorpio, I feel like whatever's going to come up, it's a strong feeling, and I have an image of you like eating to keep it down, or over-exercising to keep that feeling down. Something is not quite balanced. Too much of something, restricting your diet too much, all in an effort to control a feeling. Controlling in work, trying to control the situation, all in an effort to try to have some exterior control. Because the stuff you can't control seems to be slowly starting to come up. And of course the solution to that, my beauty, is to have that quiet space and to really be super honest and say, I can't fool myself anymore. I need more balance here, and I need to make a clear commitment to myself to heal something and to feel something. That's more it. A commitment to allow myself have space to feel what I feel without trying to reframe it, or without trying to say, oh, well, maybe that's because of this or that's because of that. Oh, next year I'll do something about that. Calm and let the feeling come up. Pluto retrograding Let the feeling come up and stop trying to rationalize it. Stop, stop trying to find books that kind of explain why you're feeling this way. You're just feeling it. Feel it first and explain it later. That's strong. So that's why I kind of focused on that a little bit, Scorpio, because that is a very strong energy. Don't be swallowing down feelings and trying to rationalize it with your mind. Like if you're extremely exhausted from your life, from the work you're doing, the relationships you're in, don't try to say, okay, can't be tired, drink lots of caffeine, come on, brighten up and let's get out there and face the day. That's going to hurt you in the long term. With Mars in the 8th house of wanting to see long-term value in Aries season, in yourself, long-term, Mars in Gemini, long-term communication with yourself. You know, communicate with yourself better. If you're feeling tired, then allow that to happen. And don't try to gaslight yourself. I mean, imagine trying to gaslight yourself. You know, you're feeling tired and inside you're saying, I'm exhausted. And then your mind's saying, no, you're not. That's nuts. That's gaslighting. Everywhere on the internet now is how to watch for a narcissist. Are you gaslighting yourself by pretending something isn't happening? You're too smart for that, Scorpio. You're far too smart, and you're far too good at knowing how to play that psychological game to let something as weird as that trick you. You're better than that, Scorpio. Aries season beside Taurus. Aries and Taurus, Sun, Moon or Ascendant, could be quite key for you this month. Maybe some news that they're bringing, something that they say to you, an insight that comes from them, a communication that comes via Sun, Moon or Ascendant, Aries or Taurus that really changes something up for you. That there's a real, I never thought of it like that moment. And it matters. Now, this is the card of getting more control in your life. Now, we know you're doing it. You're going to be organizing and getting rid of all the trash. Pluto retrograding, your ruler retrograding. It's saying the reason you're doing all this is to get a better sense of control in your life. And you can do it and you can maintain it. You see, it's not just about doing it once. It's about also now learning how to maintain this health thing, this good attitude in work, this ability to make clear decisions, the ability not to gaslight yourself. And to build a new structure. It's like a new way of doing things. It's like, this is Scorpio. I know where I'm going. I have confidence to do what I'm doing. I'm brave. I'm sure of what I'm doing. And it's so clear to me. And this confidence and clarity is something that I'm now going to make my new philosophy, my new religion, my new way of being. Yeah. So you're really firing it up this month, Scorpio. Really firing it up. It's a new commitment. And Mars in the 8th house will do that. A new commitment to only value the important things in your life. Value your money. Value your family. Value your good friends. Value the good people around you. But value your most important item that's priceless, which is you and your feelings and your clarity. Keep feeling that clarity. Be clear and run with that. And this brings a kind of an illumination. There's a real, Scorpio, I really feel that it's a bit like, now that, like I said at the beginning of the video, now that it's seen, it can't be unseen. Now that I recognize it, it will never again be a stranger to me. Now that I get it, it will change everything. An epiphany, waking up to something, connecting on a deeper level to real power in you, real enlightenment, which doesn't come from the mind. It comes from wherever it is you get your power. And for you, your real power, very often with Pluto, it comes from a sense of knowing feeling, instinctual primal, knowing in your blood, your bones, knowing in the very depths of you. That's always where your truth is. And there's a kind of moment where you're waking up to that. And I'm not going with the flow. There's a feeling here too of having to reject something, rejecting a person, rejecting a situation, because now that you understand, you can no longer live like that anymore. Waking up. I mean, the buzzword all over the internet now is being woke. Woke as f***. And I think you're going to be that this month. Really, really. But again, we have something that you're leaving behind. And absolutely expanding this whole concept of value. Valuing yourself, valuing your coin, valuing how you make money, valuing your long-term vision of money. It's very strong about leaving the old you behind, which I think you'll figure out this month that you didn't value enough. You didn't value yourself enough, Scorpio. You underestimated your value in the workplace, your income. You've underestimated that. You've underestimated how much more you can have in your life only because you undervalued yourself. And you might come off as the most confident person in the world, but when the truth is told this month, you'll say, this is the last piece of the jigsaw. I don't have to pretend that I value myself. Here is the moment where I really do. And it's like a clear separation, walking away from the things that devalued me. Very important. The people and the things that devalued you. You're walking away and you're closing shop a little bit and kind of saying, this is my fort, this is my body, this is my life, this is my place, this is my power. And you can only step in here, A, if you've been invited, and B, if you bring a nice gift. Yeah, because what kind of ignorant person goes to visit somebody as powerful as you now in your castle, in your brilliant place, without bringing some sort of a gift? And the ones who bring the better gifts, they can stay longer. It's a bit like that. People have to start valuing you, Scorpio. But it begins with you showing them how it's done. But I said to you towards the end of the month, there is something being revealed, a trickiness, something that you hadn't seen before. And why did you not see it? Because you've been trying to logically piece things together. That is not your superpower. And that's not for a moment to say that you can't do that. Of course you can. You're a very good strategist. You can do things like that. But your big power is in how you feel. It's, as I said, it's the blood and the bones in you. You've got to trust that more. Sorry, Scorpio. That energy in you is telling you that something is not right. And it will come out. Something's going to be revealed. Something is going to be exposed at the end of the month. And it'll be somebody bringing this news to you. Somebody young, somebody who maybe is a bit immature, that they don't know what they're saying. They just happen to blurt it out. It could be a child blurting out something and you go, say that again? What did you just say? Truth could come out. But there's something that's coming out. It could be a water sign, sun, moon or ascendant in Cancer, Scorpio or Pisces, that reveals something to you. And you will be so glad that you found out. Because I get the feeling, Scorpio, once you find out, it's almost like Scorpio is back. Scorpio is back in a type of, that power, that kind of, okay. It's like, why did you think you could mess with me? Why did you think that I wasn't going to open an absolute bag of mad when I figured this shit out. And you're able to fix it then. It's you see it, you see it, you see it. I love it. And it brings your power back, Scorpio. I love it, I love it, I love it, Scorpio. I'm going to leave it there, but you know what to do to get into the real details, because this is just the general landscape. To get into absolute details here for love, for looking for love, for your money and career, for family, friend issues, or anything else that's cropping up. You know to come to the VIMEO readings, the deep read, all linked down there below. Come along and let's open this bad boy up so we can find out, maybe find out who's bringing that secret, what that thing is. Maybe we can go there. So the deep read, VIMEO, all. I keep getting cut out. I think that's my cue to leave. So Scorpio, as always, I'm going to leave you with all my love and a great, great, great big kiss from me to you. Mwah. Until next month, my beautiful. Bye.